Home builder confidence rose this month for the first time in 12 months, but builders in some areas of Southwest Florida may have overbuilt based on some of the marketing I've been receiving, which might be good news for some of you first time buyers. And I'll show you what some of these builders are offering to give you an idea and put things in perspective. And it looks like mortgage rates will be heading higher for a while. So some of these new construction incentives could be your best bet for quite a while. I'm diving into all of that right now. So let's get started. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, buying, and selling in Southwest Florida, then subscribe and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the latest data, tips, and tours to keep you ahead of the curve. I'm Rick Harrison with the Home Sold Guaranteed Group at MVP Realty here in Southwest Florida. And my team and I are getting calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you looking for help on making their move to the greater Fort Myers area, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so we can help you figure out exactly what you want and where you want to be. All of our information is in the description below. So as I mentioned, interest rates look to be heading higher for the foreseeable future, but that might not be so bad if you're looking for a starter home or are a first-time buyer, because builders are starting to actually open up their process to offers. Yes, you heard me right. Offers. The tables have turned on what was once a market asking for people to bid on lots, upgrade packages, and home prices has now gone the other way, and builders are begging for people to bring them reasonable offers. That will be one of the stories I go over today, so stick around to the end. But first, let's dive into this week's stats, starting out with the southern part of Southwest Florida. So new listings this week, new listings last week were at 1,007, and this week they're down 3% to 978. So not too much of a drop as far as new listings coming on the market. However, we did see inventory increase, and you'll see that on the next slide. Solds, which is a lagging indicator, went from 519 last week to 501. So that's also down about 4%. However, pendings, again, we're seeing this trend continue. Went from 837 to 1016 this week. That's up 21%. And with that, we did also see price decreases rise up 10% as well. So again, this is all going back to the fact that mortgage rates have fallen for the last 4 weeks in a row and demand has picked up. However, we're going to go into that a little bit shortly after this with what's going on in the bond market. Single family inventory, 5433 last week to 5483 this week. That's up 50. So we had a nice gain there. And then condos also up 42, up to 2824. So we had a net gain of 263 last week. We have a net gain of 92 units this week. So we are seeing inventory continue to increase in the market. Multifamilies, we actually lost 6 here, 157 and 151. And then foreclosures, we also saw this tick down 11. We're down to 50. So still hovering, both of them are hovering right in there, the 10 to 20 units range. Total sales, we had 519 total sales over the last 7 days, and 355 of them were cash. So that's 68%, almost 70% of all homes purchased or sold over the last 7 days were cash. So that's giving you a good indicator the majority of the market is still cash buyers down here. Punta Gorda to Sarasota, new listings went from 1716 to 1805. That's up 5%, right in line with what the southern part is seeing. Sold went from 908 to 1022. That's up 12%. Again, a lagging indicator. And then pendings, same story here. Actually up slightly more. Pendings went from 1866 to 2132. That's up 14% week over week. So pretty good size gain there. Again, back to the mortgage interest rates declining for the last 4 weeks in a row. We did see price decreases actually go down slightly, down 8% from 21.95 to 20.25. That's right in line with the fact that actually right now we are seeing stable to actually some slightly increasing home prices across the markets. Inventory breakdown, we gained 18 single family units week over week. So that's up to 4394. And then condos, we gained 61 units this week. So we had a net gain last week of 108, this week 79. Still seeing inventory increasing again in this market as well. Multifamilies, we had an uptick of 4, and foreclosures an uptick of 3. Really no big things to report there as usual. And then total sales 395. We had 238 of those, which is 60% were cash as well. So Same thing in between the 60 to 70% range for cash buyers in the market currently throughout Southwest Florida. Interest rates ticked up this week, went from 6.039 last week to 6.109 this week. So that's up. Bank rate went from 6.3 to 6.47, again, up 7 basis points. So we are now starting to see interest rates increase, and I think we will be seeing that for quite a while now based on what's going on in the bond market. So let's hop over to the bond market. So I've been covering this for a while. I did mention, over the last month or so, we did see this come down. It touched the line. We had a double top, head back down. Now we're hitting the 200-day moving average, and it does look like that is actually bouncing higher. We do not have confirmation yet with the MACD or the RSI. However, it is starting to roll the other way again, which means that the bond market very well could be heading higher, at least for the 10-year, which means mortgage rates could be heading higher too. It is flattening right now, so we will have a better confirmation over the next couple days. By next week, we'll know whether it's going to be continuing to head higher or is going to be falling back below again to the 200-day. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for those of you who are you're looking to finance your next purchase, keeping an eye on the mortgage interest rates. This is the thing to look at, the 10-year bond market or even the 2-year bond market, and you can do so very easily on pretty much any website. All right, let's take a look at what we've been talking about, which the first two stories, really all three stories today go hand in hand with builders and what the starts and permits are showing. And I'm going to show you what the actual incentives are in just a couple minutes after these first two slides. First one we're going to look at is actually the December single family starts rose. So in December, we actually saw single family starts rising double digits, 11.3%, which is good news because we've been seeing most of the year multifamily has been what has been increasing, and single family starts have actually been decreasing. So this is good news that we're seeing builders start to build more single family homes again. But however, that was in December. So we did see that actually starting to fall a little bit with the new starts and permits pulled. That data that just came out over the last couple days. With the builder confidence, however, we did break a 12-month streak of builder confidence decreasing, which means that we are starting to see new lows, even though we're still in bearish territory for builder sentiment. It is suggesting this kind of turning around that we're really getting to a low point in the cycle, or at least what the professionals and gurus consider might be a low point in the sentiment, which means builders might be starting to look at more optimistic for 2023, which actually could result in more home building and a rebound towards the end of 2023, or actually the later half. And I wanted to show you this real quick. This is something I actually received today from one of the builders. I'm not going to mention what builder it is, but these are the marketing pieces that are coming out to agents that are getting pushed out to try to bring in buyers. So just to give you an idea, builders are kind of starting to hurt quite a bit here. As I mentioned before in previous videos, they really do not want to resort to lowering prices. However, this last hot sheet that just came out today, I am seeing builders, and this particular builder is in Cape Coral. They are actually resorting to lowering prices. So not only that, but they're actually putting in, if you can take a look at the top line here, all offers considered. So they're actually opening it up to offers from buyers, which they usually don't do. This is kind of a ditch effort to try to bring in some more buyers. They usually do what the things below that, which are the incentives. And even lower rates, so 4.99% interest rate. I mean, you can't find that right now at a typical lender. They're actually buying down the interest rates. So just a couple of things to consider. If you are looking for a new home or looking to purchase soon, you definitely want to start checking into new construction homes and some of the builders in the area. And if you need information on any of them, feel free to reach out to me. I have working relationships with pretty much all the big builders in this area, and I have most of their packets and information so I can get that over to you. But they are doing $15,000 towards closing costs, an extra $1,000 here for civil servants. They're buying down the interest rates 4.99%. So that's, well below a full percent below what you can get right now on the market. And it's just obviously a turn of events, and builders were trying to get rid of agents. Now they're begging for business from agents. So something to keep in mind and check out if you are looking to buy soon. And if you, like I said, if you need any more information, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. Well, that's it for this week's market update. If you'd like more information on buying in the area, check out this playlist above. And if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. All of my contact information is in the description below. I'll see you next week, but until then, stay safe, stay positive, and more importantly, stay free.